Oh, hello, this is video 2 in this series, and I thought I'd whiz through some ideas connecting V with the other poems to write a coherent essay. Woo. Right, here it is. So, in the bit of V that I just read with you, he's arguing with himself. And here in Working, he's doing pretty much the same thing. He says this word shift, old word, kind of poetic word for poet, and there's another one. This word shift in inwit's a load of crap for dumping on a slag heap. You know, I'm nothing, what am I? And by the end of the poem, the summary, gosh, sorry, I've lost my brain, so I'll just go find it. The summary rhyming couplet at the end of the sonnet, which is traditional. You summarise the meaning of your sonnet in a rhyming couplet at the end. Wherever hardship held its tongue, my job, the working, not just of Patience Kershaw, but of me as a poet, is to break the silence of the worked out gob. So that's him doubting himself and coming through with a meaning and an importance for his own work. And you might think the same debate is going on in V. You're ready for National Trust. I'll try and be more coherent. So National Trust, very similar. I've got least to say about this somewhere. But there he is again. The dumb go down in history and disappear, and not one gentleman's been brought to book until I've written this one. And until I've written about them here. So that's, his job is giving a voice to people. A bit less on that one. Them and us, absolutely lots. So here is his rebellion verse, his finding his own voice, his own identity. I spoke the language that I spoke at home. And, in that bit of Vu you read, the skinhead says to him, or he says to himself, can't you speak the language that your mum spoke? So that is part of his identity. I'm not going to try and sound like the traditional, the establishment, the elite, RP. I'm going to be authentically me. I've got things to say. I'm Tony Harrison, no longer you that own the culture in this country. So that's quite a nice connection. I hope you like it. What have we got to say about Marked with D? So in a way, his father and the skinhead have got similarities. They've got this lack of education, although his father has an important job in keeping people fed. You can tell what the really important jobs are because they carried on during COVID. Anyway, keeping people fed was one, but sorry, his tongue weighed like lead. Whereas the skinhead is out there aggressively putting his voice everywhere, Harrison's father was silenced. You might think the skinhead's pretty silenced because all he does is like obscenities and racist stuff. He doesn't actually articulate what's wrong. So they're silenced in different ways. That's all your political opinion. So that's a great simile to remember. His tongue weighed like lead, and England made him feel like some dull oaf, playing around as ever with a loaf there. I just had a laugh at it. Well done, Tony Harrison. So he was, it's Hassan really, isn't it? He's squashed down. So that's one way of responding. And the other way is what the skinhead does, which is pretty ineffective also. Now, Divisions is described by one critic as a throat-clearing exercise for V, as in it's the same poem, really. But in Divisions, they think that like themselves, he's looking at these skinheads, they think that like themselves, I'm on the dole. So really, I'm not like them. I'm a writer. They're on the dole and they're behaving badly, but I'm a writer. And they watch me at the end of the poem. They watch me as I write one front door orange in a row or blue. I don't know what that means in terms of what are these doors, but I do know he's different to them. And then by the time he writes V, no, we're not. We are them. I might segue off to the kite runner. Amir, I'm totally different to Hassan. He's servant class. He's Hazara. I'm very, very different. At the end of the novel, oh no, A, he's my brother. B, I am the kite runner. I am him. Oh no, back to this one. In divisions, he's some sense of explaining these people and speaking up for them for sure, but actually being a bit different to them. Whereas in V, he is the same as them. And it's about manhood here, isn't it? And masculinity, a crisis in masculinity caused by unemployment. And I've just put here at the end, but most I hope for jobs for all of you. That's what the issue is. Don't put people like this in prison, which was policy at the time, the short, sharp shock policy, if you want to look it up. Actually get them jobs. So that's the same as the skinhead. And I've put in here, just to remind myself, there you had the graveyard. Here you've got the really awful daytime pub with the hemorrhoids advert. And so a loss of masculinity and identity in the graveyard, in this pub, an attempt to be sold some form of masculinity. The brewery, the alcohol makes a man of you. So a nice setting to write about there as well. I think that's it.